Hello everybody, Razorblade Mango here, and today we're going to be talking about Mario Tennis Aces! I almost said Super Mario Tennis Aces, but that actually would have been a pretty cool name either way. So, this is going to be the first Nintendo game that I cover on this channel. And with it being that I have a Nintendo Switch now, and I probably will be covering more games on the channel that are Switch games, couple things to bring up. One thing is, because I do not have a capture card and it's gonna take fucking forever for me to get like actual footage from my Switch to my PC that actually looks really good, the footage you're gonna see in the video today is not gonna be from my own personal experience playing the game. It's gonna be a mixture of trailer footage and Treehouse footage, the Nintendo Treehouse E3 2018 footage for Super Mario Aces, or Mario Tennis Aces. There I go again. And yes, I apologize if it means that much to you guys that, you know, it'd be my own footage. That's just the reality of how it's going to be with Nintendo Switch games. Either way, Nintendo is going to copyright claim it and attempt to make money off my video, so fuck them. Either way, I think it would just be a waste of my time to try to do my own gameplay. It's far easier, and I can get these videos out in a far more timely fashion this way. And the footage you're basically going to see is pretty much mimics my own experience with the game, so there's that. And that's how it's going to be for all Nintendo games I play on the Switch. Unless it's something that is, well, yeah, even if it is on the Switch, it'll be like a mixture of trailer footage and gameplay from outside sources. Maybe like a friend of mine could do B-roll footage or something. I don't know. Maybe. We'll see what happens in the future. But I just wanted to put that little disclaimer in front before we start talking about Mario Tennis Aces, which is the first Nintendo first-party game that I am covering on this channel as its own video. And so I have a very mixed opinion of Mario Tennis Aces. I think this game teeters on that line between okay and just downright forgettable. If there's a fine line between those two things, I think that's where Mario Tennis Aces is. It's like on a tightrope between okay and mediocrity. And the reason for that is this game, I've seen it compared to fighting games with, you know, the character selection, each character feeling different, having their own set of skills, how it's all about meter build up and when to save power, when to expend it, all that stuff. It's very strategic, and that actually plays into what I like so much about the game as a, you know, it is like one of its parts. And I definitely see the fighting influence there, the fighting game influence. And even one of my best friends said that, you know, this felt more like a fighting game to him than a regular tennis game. And that's something I can absolutely respect, and I do respect it in Mario Tennis Aces, because when you play against, especially when you play against human opponents, it definitely has that flavor of strategy that you don't really see in a lot of Mario games, or even like sports games like this. It really does feel like a fighting game stuck inside of a tennis game, stuck inside of a Mario game, and it really is. It's interesting, and it can be really fun. When I was playing with same friend, I was having such a good time where we were just knocking these tennis balls back and forth at each other, whether it was the simple mode, which I honestly prefer the simple mode because I'm a big tennis fan, and I just like me a regular game of tennis every now and then, and the standard mode, which is, you know, the zone shots and the power hits and the super meters and all that. And that's where, you know, the big draw of the game is for a lot of people, is that they're trying this new thing, this new set of rules. And as far as, you know, balance and fairness, I think it actually is really good in terms of keeping things on an level, even level playing field. Bleh, can't talk this morning. So that's where this is. And you know, there probably are some characters that are really out of balance in terms of some cases. I've heard complaints like Bowser Jr. is way overpowered. Boo is kind of a bastard. I must admit, Boo is a fucking cheating little shit when it comes to those slices. But I think for the most part, they've gotten the gameplay down to pretty much to a rock solid foundation. Unfortunately, I think negative comparisons start to come up when it comes to fighting games, for me at least. In a lot of ways, Mario Tennis Aces reminds me of Street Fighter V. And if you guys know my opinion on Street Fighter V, to sum it all up, it's the core gameplay is fantastic. Everything else around it sucks. And I don't think Mario Tennis Aces is as lackluster as Street Fighter V. Let's get that out of the way. I think this definitely, objectively, has more meat to it than Street Fighter V did at launch. But compared to a lot of other games out there, this definitely feels very anemic in terms of content, particularly offline content. And a lot of the decisions in this game just feel baffling to me. And we'll get into each mode, but I want to first start out with adventure mode, because I think a lot of people have been kind of skimming over it, which I think is a disservice to the game itself, because I think the adventure mode is worth talking about and worth criticizing so they can do better next time. For lack of a better word, the adventure mode is kind of shitty. I think it is kind of shitty. I'm probably going to get a lot of hate for saying this, because I've already seen it where, like, even said friends said that, you know, oh, well, maybe you just suck at the game because, you know, I think this game is pretty, you know, it's challenging, but it's fair. There's a difference, and I've said this on multiple videos, there's a difference between challenging and fair and then just being cheap. Being cheap. And Mario Tennis Aces really pushes that cheap difficulty hard in some areas of the adventure mode particularly. And there came a point where I stopped having fun after a while. Initially, in like the first couple of levels, I was like, okay, this is fun. It is a little tough, a little challenging, but it is fun in some cases. Then there came a point where I stopped having fun. And that's when the enjoyment I had, the tolerance I had for a lot of this just took a fucking nosedive off a cliff and down into the ruins below. And that's when I started to kind of really dislike it. Some challenges are so frustrating in this that I don't even want to make the effort any more than I already tried to complete them 100%. It's not fun. And whenever I completed a challenge, I think the end challenges of this game are actually easier than the middle challenges, which is really odd. Like, the middle portion of this game is just tedious and boring and frustrating and annoying, and it just it made me want to quit. It made me want to quit. And I didn't. I completed the game. You know, I beat the final boss. I ain't going back for 100%. I've got a life to live. I've got better things to do with my time than bang my head against a brick wall until it breaks. Because that's basically what Mario Tennis Aces adventure mode is. You are banging your fucking head against a brick wall until it breaks. It's not fun in terms of overcoming challenge. Like, if I may, I would like to bring up a Dark Souls comparison. A Soulsborne comparison. Because Bloodborne is fucking brutal. Bloodborne forces you to learn and adapt to its way of thinking, its way of level design. but that game has a lot more going for it than Mario Tennis Aces Adventure Mode does. Adventure Mode is just so... It feels like they just farted it out and without even really putting in the time and effort for it. Felt like they just pissed out a bunch of shit and just were like, here, challenge, difficulty, get good, here you go. It doesn't even feel encouraging either, because little quality of life things just aren't there. And the biggest one I can think of that just annoyed me throughout the whole game is there is no easy try again button. When you fail a challenge, there is no way to just click a button and you restart the challenge instantly. You have to sit at the screen while Mario's meaningless XP... Like, let me get this out of the way, too. That XP meter in the game is fucking meaningless. Your experience in this game, fucking meaningless. Means nothing. So you have to watch this XP meter fill up, then you have to go back to the main menu, then you have to go back to the world map, then you have to listen to this dialogue about how you failed every time. You have to go click on the challenge, then you have to skip the dialogue, and then you have to wait until it loads. You hit, and just, it's like way too many steps to get back into something that should just take one button. Just one button. That's all it takes, Nintendo. One button. Try again. There you go. And particularly some of the earlier challenges where like I was failing, it was like, oh well, you suck. Oh, you're not gonna get very far with the skills you have. And it's just like the game basically just like shoves your face into the dirt and just kind of rubs it in there like, yeah, you lost, bitch. Bitch ass fool, you lost. Try again. Except there's no easy try again button. And it's just frustrating. The whole fucking game. The whole adventure mode is just frustrating. You know what this adventure mode reminded me of? And I was thinking about it like the entire game. This adventure mode reminds me of the scene in Disney's Hercules where Phil trains Hercules. And the whole, quote, adventure, unquote, mode feels like a training course. It doesn't feel like an actual adventure. It feels like a bunch of challenges and obstacles. Like, I feel like everything in that adventure mode should have been its own separate thing. Like a separate, rigorous training mode where you get the skills down for the online multiplayer. And, like, that's what it feels like. Similar to... I just thought of this. Similar to how a lot of first-person shooters are just facsimiles of the multiplayer, where they just train you to be good at the multiplayer. This feels like that. Like, this adventure mode feels like it's just training you to be better at the multiplayer, which that is really where a lot of the focus for this game is right now. The training mode, it's just, that's it. It's a glorified training mode. That's what it is. There is no adventure. It's just move from one set challenge after another. You have easy, intermediate, advanced, and it literally takes you in that order with the same exact challenges every single fucking time. You move on to a new area. That's what it is. It is an extensive, elaborate training mode. And it's not fucking fun. Should have been its own dedicated mode instead of an adventure mode. Even like the story is just so throwaway. All you do is just collect these power stones to stop this evil racket from destroying the kingdom. And like there's like so few cutscenes. There's so few, like such little like cinematic flair to it. It's just so dull. Every time you get into a new cutscene, it's just the two characters or three characters standing there in their default poses, talking, doing, and it's just, it's lazy. The adventure mode in this game is lazy. Lazy ass mode. Camelot. I've heard stories about the past Game Boy Advance Mario games with their RPG stuff. I've heard about them. I doubt they're like this. I doubt it. Someone correct me if I'm wrong, but I would much rather have a clear and cut RPG mode. Like, the most fun I had in the adventure mode was just the fucking regular tennis matches that you can have. Those were fun because they actually, you know, taught me how to play the game properly, and those were fun. Then you get to the gimmicky bullshit and it stops being fun. And for the love of God, why the hell is every single challenge in this timed? Timed challenges are not fucking fun. Having to race against the clock because of your cheap ass bullshit is not fun. Stop timing me on all these gimmicky fucking challenges. Stop it. It's not fun. So moving on from the adventure mode, then you move on to multiplayer. Local, single, whatever. Online, what have you. This is where the clear effort is. And it's a double-edged sword here. And it has similar problems to the adventure mode. It just feels lazy in terms of modes, in terms of presentation. The gameplay itself, the core gameplay, is really good. It is a lot of fun when you are playing against a friend or a group of friends or what have you. Even I have seen a lot of fighting people, like a lot of people in the fighting community, particularly like the Smash community, make videos about Mario Tennis Aces and talk about how strategic this game is and how fun it is. But it just feels like it's missing something. It really does. Maybe when, you know, more updates come in and the online tournaments start to happen, you know, where they're playing for characters, maybe then it will be really fun. It doesn't help either that there really is no customization in this game in terms of cosmetics. The only thing you can really customize in terms of cosmetics is just how, like you can have Mario's original outfit if you played the beta and you kept the save data in the Switch. Whoop-de-fucking-do. There's no costume unlocks after completing the campaign. There's no unlocks for costumes completing challenges throughout like the multiplayer or even like the offline, like the bots or anything. There's nothing. It's just so bare bones and anemic. And I can already see the arguments where it's like, you know, well, the focus is the gameplay. You know, you play a game to play the game, win or lose. You gotta, like, the cosmetics don't matter. It's the same option. It's the same argument I've seen from people that defend Overwatch's like loot boxes, where they're like, "Oh, the cosmetics don't matter." Well, since this game doesn't offer microtransactions, thank God, you know, there still needs to be something, like some kind of progression in this game, other than just like a tally of your wins and losses. Like, the unlocking characters early when, you know, the online tournaments start to happen next month, that's a start, but everyone's just gonna get those characters anyway. Like, all you gotta do is just wait a month. Like, if you grow bored of this game and don't play it for like a month, probably what I'm gonna do once Octopath Traveler comes out, I can just get all the characters. I gotta just pick this game up again in a couple months and I'll have all the characters that I need. So there's really no motivation to go into the online tournaments and work your ass off for it. What, so you can play it like a month early? Whoop-de-fucking-do. For me, it just does, that's not appealing. That's not fun. And also, like, when it comes to, you know, setting up the rules, quote rules, for you doing challenges, you know, in the free mode is what it's called, when you don't want to participate in the online. Free mode, you can set it between your friends, you can set it with bots, yada yada yada. You can't even play a regular game of tennis in this game. I don't give a fuck if this game is meant to be, you know, a cartoon exaggerated version of tennis. They went through the effort of putting in the normal rules for tennis. You can't play a normal game of tennis in a game about tennis. What the fuck is that, Nintendo? And, like, it just boggles my mind. There, again, quality of life things. Why can't I play with my own custom set of rules? Why aren't you giving me the choice to play tennis the way I want to play it? I don't want to keep playing it with just tiebreakers and 2 sets. That's not what I want. I want a regular game of tennis, and where I want to crank up the difficulty to the AI and play a 6-set match. That's what I want. Why is that not in here at day 1? Seriously, why? Why is that not here? Also, it doesn't save your your settings for you choosing your courts. Like, if you want to play against the AI and you don't want the courts with the hazards on them and the bullshit like that, you gotta go into the menu every single fucking time you reboot the game. You gotta select. It's like ass backwards, where it doesn't ask you, hey, which court do you want? Like, do you want this court? Do you want this court? You gotta go into the menu. It doesn't let you select the court. You gotta go into the menu. You gotta click the things you don't want. You gotta be like, oh, I don't want that. I don't want that. I want that, but I don't want the hazards. I want that. I don't want that, but I want the hazards. And it's like, you gotta do this every single fucking time you pick up the game again. Just, I don't understand why this game can't save settings. Basic fucking shit. Save the fucking settings, Nintendo. Camelot. God, it's not that hard. Also, when you talk about, you know, like, setting this shit up, it's so ass backwards, this whole fucking thing. It's just, it's typical Nintendo bullshit, where everything takes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 steps way too long. It should just be a simple fucking thing. Simple and streamlined, but it's not. Because Nintendo wants to be goofy, and Nintendo wants to be Nintendo. Whoop-de-fucking-do. It's annoying. And tournament mode matchmaking is atrocious. This is something that I barely touched tournament mode, but going against, I was level 1, level 0 going into tournament mode. You're set against people that have thousands of points already accrued in tournament mode. You're gonna get fucked up the butthole in tournament mode because the matchmaking in it is awful. Really, really terrible. So you guys must think I hate Mario Tennis Aces. It sounds like it. And I'm probably being a lot, in my overall opinion of it, I'm probably being a lot more, nice than I should be. Because it does sound like I hate it. And I don't hate it. I just think there are things about it that just blow my mind that they're not there. Just the ability to play normal tennis, the ability to save settings, the ability to have a much better streamlined court selection thing, the ability to not have tournament mode that is complete ass at matchmaking, the ability to have an adventure mode that feels like an adventure and not like the training sequence from Hercules. It is frustrating, and the lack of modes on it as well, because Camelot and Nintendo have put all their effort into the online and farted out the rest. And I would be more forgiving of that if I didn't know that the online thing for Nintendo is coming soon. So if you don't want, say you do not want to pay for online for Nintendo, for the Switch, you don't want to pay for it come September, you're stuck with a bare bones, badly streamlined free mode against the computer and a kind of shit adventure mode. That's really all you're left with if you don't want to pay for the online. It's just so lacking in offline content that's what bothers me. And a lot of the praise is becoming, for the experience for the online. Great, that's fine. I'm not a huge online person. I will play with my friends. That's pretty much it. So for me, this game is just, it does so little that all these other fighting games do, that add a good campaign mode, that add extensive offline features. Injustice 2, I haven't even bought it yet. You guys know how much I fucking hate Warner Brothers, but from the little I've played of that game felt feature fucking rich. NetherRealm did a good ass job making that game feel complete. Mario Tennis Aces does not feel complete. It is the Street Fighter V of tennis games. The Street Fighter V of Mario Tennis games. Mario sports games in general. So, would I recommend Mario Tennis Aces? At this price, no. I would not. Absolutely, I would not. Because in its current state, I don't think it's worth $60. Honestly, I don't. If it ever dropped down to 20, maybe that would be worth it. But 60? No. They're fucking dreaming. And I would wait a while. I'd wait a couple months and then buy it once there's possibly more features, more patches added into it that fix stuff, maybe. And that's the thing, I don't know if they're gonna fix it. And my final note is, the reason I don't think they're gonna fix a lot with Mario Tennis Aces is because Nintendo's design philosophy is baffling to a lot of people, including me. And it seems they're just very stubborn about providing, a single experience where they're like, oh, well, it's our way or the highway. And it confused me for a long time, but it was actually explained to me by somebody that, lives in Japan, who said that the way Nintendo operates with their games, their first party stuff, is it's like a culture thing with them where it's a lot like sushi, where you don't ask for substitutions with the sushi that is given to you. You eat it the way the chef prepares it, or you don't eat it at all. You don't go to that restaurant. And if you don't like the way the chef prepares it, it's like a sign of disrespect if you ask for something else or something on top of it or take something away. You eat it the way the chef prepares it. And that's, to me, how Nintendo was described to me as. They're like a sushi chef. They're creators of sushi. And if you don't like the sushi, then don't buy the game, because they're not going to change much to it. Like similar with how Star Fox Zero had those shit awful forced motion controls attached to it, and they never fixed it. And that's why Splatoon 2's Salmon Rush mode, it's like a set thing of weapons, and it's a set time you got to be on to do it, and they haven't fixed it. And that's basically how it's been described to me. You either eat Nintendo's sushi or you don't eat it at all. There's no substitutions. So anyway, those are my thoughts on Mario Tennis Aces. Don't buy it yet. That's my recommendation for you guys. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. If you like to see, subscribe. Let me know what you thought about Mario Tennis Aces. And as always, have a good one, everyone. Take care.